Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a blessed day. I'm doing great myself. And let's just get into today's topic, shall we? I guess the one that I wrote down here, it's called How to Find Your Purpose. So this is going to be various ways in which I think you could, in fact, find your purpose and how to find your purpose. Okay? So it says here, what do you want to do in life? You know, my best recommendation as to being able to go about this the right way and save time, effort, money, energy, resources, and not make the same mistakes over and over would be to make a list. Okay. So think of it in your head first, then write it down on paper. Okay. Thoughts, words, actions. That's how everything's manifested in our reality, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know of. Okay. Um, so, in order to make that list, you have to think first, then get the pen and paper and just let it start flowing, baby. Okay? I like to take just a piece of paper, just like a blank piece of paper like this, and draw a line down the middle, just how it happens to be folded right now, ironically. Make a line right down the middle, right? And then on the left, write something, and then write something on the right, okay? The left side could be, before I get into this, just one way that I used to do it is short-term goals and long-term goals. That's great, but that's not until after you write down this first part, okay? So the left side, you can write down what feeds your soul and your spirit. Example, you could write down helping others, helping the homeless, psychology or psychologists, growing food, helping animals, anything like that, things that you really want to do that would feed your soul or your spirit. Don't think about the money yet, okay? That will come later. Then on the right side of that same piece of paper, list jobs that would successfully complete each desire. So if it said on the left, helping animals, or I want to have something to do with animals, on the right, it could be veterinarian, it could be a dog trainer, where you train dogs that are really act out and the owners can't get them to behave. And you can actually take that dog for 2 to 6 weeks and train them. And when you give them back, you get rewarded handsomely for it. They get paid quite well if you're doing it enough and you're busy enough and you can make ends meet. Like I said, the end game shouldn't be financial gain. Find something that you can stay afloat with, you know what I mean? But find something that feeds your soul, that feeds who you really are at the end of the day, because that's far more important. Now, if you want to go the route with like, I want to make the most money, I don't care what I do because any job I look at is miserable and it's just a matter of what pays the most, then this video is not for you, my friend. That's fine. Maybe we'll do another video on that in the future. But anyways, so like I said, left side, things that feed your soul and spirit. The right side, jobs that fit that description. Then you can start making the correlation between the two, okay? After that, circle or highlight your top three on the left column and your favorite job of each of those three desires. You know what I mean? Compare the pay amongst your choices as well. That's when the pay can come into it. You might find the three things that you would love to do, and then maybe you go with the one that pays the most. Or maybe you take the one that pays the least and you X that out, and then it's up to the other two. So compare the pay amongst your choices. Narrow the three choices down to two choices. Do a literal test run on each of these two potential jobs. Look up testimonies from people who either do the job or people who have done the job in the past. This way you can get honest feedback from people who have already walked in the shoes that you're thinking of walking in. Okay? Next page. If you are still young, then I highly suggest that you do not rush things. Don't beat yourself up. You do have time. However, do not be lazy and do not put it off for years. Find a balance between the two, somewhere in the middle. That's where the truth often lies. Okay? That is my recommendation, but that's not my story, unfortunately. I wasted 10 years of my life battling addiction, so don't do that. When you're young and you're out at a party and, maybe you're already at the point where you had a little drink or you took a couple puffs of some marijuana, okay? That's whatever, you're already there, right? But if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, want to split a perk 30, want to just do one little bump, or hey, want to try this little key bump of this thing called cocaine, Don't do that because it's going to open doors that you may not ever be able to close. Okay? I can tell you from experience, the short little high and fun and everything of picking up and getting the drug and doing the drug, and that is nothing compared to the pain and turmoil that it brings. Save yourself the time, effort, money, energy, and potentially gambling your life every day. It's like Russian roulette. Like, you just don't know when that today is going to be your day and stuff like that. So stay clear of that, okay? At 14 years old, I got a work permit. Okay, that's so that I could legally work before I'm 18 or before I'm considered a legal adult. Then from 14 to 28, I worked regular jobs, just like get well jobs, jobs that don't pay much, jobs that anybody could do. Okay? This built my work ethic over time. It built my understanding of how this economy really works, and it made me much more versatile with various talents. So that experience was good and all, but if you could simply learn those things from other people, you can save yourself the time and the effort. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with exploring your options like I did. But anyways, from 14 to 28, I worked. Then 29 to 31, when I was early in recovery, I focused on rest and recovery. Then 31 to 33, I trained MMA all the time. Now 34 to 35, I started making YouTube videos on a regular basis. And yes, I work part-time just to help to make ends meet a little bit better. Okay? So my suggestion, though, explore early on to find out what your calling and your purpose truly is. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Learn from me instead of having to learn from yourself the same thing, you know? Then make it your career when you find out what it is. Make it your career, whether it already exists or not. If it's a very specific niche or something like that, don't get swayed away from it. Don't be like, oh, it's not going to work because other people haven't done it. Be an innovator. For all you know, you could do a job that's a brand new job that never existed before, and you're the first of its kind, and you help to pave the way for the next people in line, and they will look up to you and say, wow, I want to do that. Whether it's doing what you just started or starting something new like you did, you know? Be an innovator, be a pioneer. Why not, you know? Many of us change careers 1 to 2 times throughout our life. This is normal. If you go through a few careers, that's probably all right. But make sure that it's the 1 to 3 careers that you have in life that you really wanted, okay? And make sure that all of them bring you true joy and fulfillment, okay? That's what I would want to drive home this point, okay? If it's one career, congratulations, you have found your true purpose in life. And if it is 2 or more careers, also congratulations. You can naturally juggle multiple things at once, quite successfully, might I add. So think of your purpose, utilize consistent actions to physically try out your purpose, and then decide if this is the one for you. It usually does require some trial and error. You're going to have to try it out. You can't just say, this sounds like a good idea, but I have a lot of good ideas. And then you'll experience the paralysis by analysis where you're thinking too much and you don't take any action. Don't go that route. Please don't. Try it out. Try it out for 3 to 6 months. Try it out for a year, 2 years. See if it's the right fit for you. That's fine. If it's not, don't get discouraged. At least you tried and found out, you know? And then I would say repeat this process until you find the one, the right job for you. Your soul will know it. Your mind will know it. Everything about you will know it. Okay? That's all I got. So until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. And I will see you guys in the next one, all right? I love you all so much. And until next time, take care. I love you all. Peace.